What you
Well, the
think, man?
second to last college football rankings is out. Week 14, top 25, and we've got a little bit of a shakeup. The four undefeated teams. Sorry, Liberty, you don't count. The four undefeated teams are your top four. A little controversy here, cricket. So it starts off with Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and then hanging out at number 5 is Oregon, followed by Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, and Penn State. That's your top 10. Now, here's the deal. Actually, let's just get your instant reaction. What do you think about this, cricket? Because we haven't talked about this yet. I want to know what you think before I throw out the little controversial things here.
Well, if you got to be really happy if you're Florida State fans right here. They're basically telling you winning you're in. I don't see any waste because you got Washington, Oregon right there. That's a de facto play-in game. Whoever wins that game is probably getting in based off those rankings with Washington at 3 and Oregon at 5 right there. Whoever wins that game is getting in. No way the committee's keeping them out. They've said all along they thought Oregon was their top one-loss team right there. Ohio State still sitting in front of Texas and Alabama. But obviously, Texas and Alabama have a lot of chance to improve their record this weekend in conference championship games. Texas not against a good opponent, but Alabama obviously has a chance to get the best win of the season. But you still got Ohio State sitting there in front of them. They always seem to find a way to be in the mix with this thing. And I just really think that I don't think there's a way that Texas – I don't know if they let Texas and Alabama in. There's a lot that's got to happen for Texas, I feel like, to be able to find a way in this thing because they're showing me right there the committee doesn't respect them a whole lot, man. I think
Texas is the biggest Huskies fans this week.
Absolutely, they are, man. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of not really seeing a scenario where, I mean, a lot of chaos has to happen for Texas to get in this thing, I feel like.
Can we just call it out? The fucking committee is sending us mixed signals, and they're being the biggest, laziest pieces of shit out there. All right? Here's the mixed signal. They put Florida State in based off a resume. All right? It's basically saying you're undefeated. All right? You go in and you win your conference championship. You're undefeated. You're in. We have precedents with this with the Cardell Jones, Ohio State, right? He was a third-string quarterback. He got in. They let them in, right? So you could see where there's history and whatnot. So it's okay. You win and you're in. But then they're sending us mixed signals when you got, and this is, I don't agree with everyone on this, but because I do think that they're playing the best ball. But Oregon, people are mad that Oregon is ahead of Ohio State and Alabama and Texas. That they actually think that why Oregon is the number one loss team. They think it's controversial because when they put up the stats, right, and they put up strength of schedule and all that stuff, Oregon has the weakest strength of schedule, and Oregon has the worst resume, and all these other teams have beat other better opponents. And Texas and Alabama playing in the preseason, early in the season out of conference should have meant something. Ohio State playing Notre Dame at Notre Dame should have meant something. And now they're saying, actually, no, you should just went the Oregon route and played nobody, right? You went and played Texas Tech, and oh, by the way, barely won there. I disagree with all of that because I think the committee has Oregon number 5 ahead of those teams is because Oregon's playing the best ball right now. Eye test. Oregon has hit their stride. Oregon went down to Utah and beat Utah, where Utah hadn't lost in over 3 years. I think it was 18 straight home games they hadn't lost, and Oregon beat the brakes off of them. Oregon had Oregon State come in and beat the brakes off of them. Oregon played a close one with UW, but they have a chance to, right that ship, right, this weekend. I think the strength of schedule argument is a dumb one because let's be honest, the SEC is always going to have the tougher strength of schedule because the SEC teams automatically, they're the bias. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm not saying they don't play better football, but you have the SEC who all of their strength of schedule is going to look good because they're all playing SEC teams. Whereas you're going to have a weaker strength of schedule with Oregon playing in the Pac-12 because, the Pac-12 just gets looked down upon. But Pac-12 this year has been scrappy. And as you can see, they got Washington and Oregon, two teams in the top 5 right there. So I think that their strength of schedule is a little bit better there. I just get mad with the mixed signals out of Florida State and Oregon here because Florida State, you're saying it's based off resume. Oregon, you're saying it's based off eye test. Which is it? Which are we going with? Because if we're going off of eye test, Florida State is not the number 4 team in the country right now. If we're going off resume, well, if you go off resume, Oregon shouldn't be ahead of Texas or Alabama.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I hate it. I said it yesterday. I've said it a couple times. I hate it for all those people at Florida State. I hate it mostly for Jordan Travis. Then I hate it for all the kids on that team and Coach Norvell. And then nextly the fans, man. But it is what it is, man. You're not the same team without Jordan Travis on the field. You're not. They beat them Gators by at least 3 touchdowns going away next week if he's on the field. They're just not the same team without that guy out there. You can't tell me they're unequivocally better than 4 other teams on this list without Jordan Travis. They're just not. And they're still
who I
going to wind
feel
up
sorry
getting
for
put in.
too? You know who I feel sorry for? Us, if we have to watch Florida State in a playoff game.
Playing Georgia or Michigan, they'll get drubbed without Jordan Travis.
Yeah,
now
that's
with
what
Jordan
I'm
Travis, that'd be a
saying.
great game. But without that guy, you're not the same team, man. And I said it's unfortunate, but life is unfortunate. Life is unfair, and you get unlucky sometimes. You just got unlucky in this one. But what you're telling us all this time, when you put the 4 best teams in there, Florida State's not one of the 4 best teams without Jordan Travis. Period.
Nope. Sure ain't. Okay.
You wanna pull this playoff predictor up and see what some of the parameter if the teams win, what it looks like for.
Yeah, do you have that?
How
You want to share that?
I'll share it. I got you. Let's see here. All right, what you can do here? This is over on ESPN. It's your playoff predictor. You can pick each matchup that you think will win. It'll tell you the amount of percentage each team has to make the playoffs. So who's winning Georgia, Alabama, man?
Let's say Alabama wins.
Okay,
because we know if Georgia wins, they're in. You know?
Yeah, we know that. Okay, well, Florida State. Louisville.
By the way, shout out to Derpy. What up, Derpy? Says Bama will get in. Can't wait to not watch Bama Georgia again because money with ESPN. I'm watching Georgia Alabama. I know what you're talking about. We missed it last year.
Oh, he's saying he's not watching it this time, or
I don't know. He does say though, fellas, I'm more than likely going to my first Steelers game against your Patriots. Hell yeah, buddy! Man, I was looking at that. They play next Thursday night, and I was like, oh god, we're gonna get punched in the mouth by the Steelers. Great. That's in Pittsburgh, dude. Have fun. Yeah. Let us know how it is. That's gonna be awesome. Better get your towel ready.
That's right. Get that towel ready, man. All right, Florida State, Louisville, man. Who's winning this thing? I think Louisville might give them some trouble in this thing. Bouncing back, everybody expecting to get smacked in the mouth after they lost at home to Kentucky, looking real bad. I think they might give Florida State a little more than they're ready for.
Yeah, let's say it. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens.
And then obviously we know who's winning this one. We don't have any doubt who's winning that one. All right, I think.
Dude, what if Iowa upsets Michigan though? That's how the committee can just bypass everything, and that's actually how. If Iowa upsets Michigan, Louisville upsets Florida State. That's how you get Texas and Alabama in.
Exactly. That's also how you get all the resignations from everybody on the committee too.
Hey, so Texas is Iowa. Don't lose to Iowa. Man.
Don't lose to Iowa, and you ain't got to worry about anything.
Let's be honest. As good of a season they had, if Michigan goes out and lose to this Iowa team, they don't deserve you. Sorry, you lost. You don't get to
fire everybody.
Yeah,
fire everybody.
We don't need to see you get your ass kicked in the playoff again, like we've seen in the years past.
I think this Iowa team has had one total in the 40s all year long. Everything else has been 35 and under. And you can't beat this team. You don't beat this team. You don't get the chance to play football anymore. You're done.
Oh, yeah.
All right. In Oregon, Washington, we're going with the Ducks.
Yep. Quack, quack.
All right. That's what your playoff would look like in that scenario with Alabama, Louisville, Michigan, Texas, and Oregon. This is what the playoff predictor thinks. You'd have Michigan as the 1 seed, Oregon as the 2, Texas is the 3, and Alabama is the 4. So we get an Alabama, Michigan, a Texas, Oregon matchup. Ohio State would be on the outside looking in right there.
I think that's so crazy that Alabama would beat the number 1 team, and they'd be only ranked 4, and Georgia wouldn't even be ahead of Ohio State.
I know. That's crazy. We have an 8% chance of getting that right. Let's try one more.
All right, so
we'll say Georgia. Let's say Florida State gets it done. Michigan, Texas, and Oregon. And that would look like that. That says that the Longhorns get left out right there. Georgia and Oregon be playing, then Michigan and Florida State. They're still going to put Florida State. Florida State wins, they're putting them in, man.
I don't see how, if Oregon beats UW, how they don't jump Florida State.
That's what I'm saying. If Florida State's in there, you're the 4th.
But the committee might just go be a bunch of pussies. Like, well, these 3 are undefeated and they have 1 loss, which I would view Oregon as a undefeated team because they corrected their loss, right? They've beat everyone on their schedule, right?
Yep. And they righted the ship if they beat Washington this weekend down in Vegas.
Yeah. And honestly, they outgained Washington in the first game. They went to Washington and still had a chance to win that game. Like, it was close the whole time. They, by going back, and especially if they do it, if they blow out Washington, they definitely should jump Florida State.
I agree.
Because let's be honest, wouldn't you rather see? Would you rather see Michigan and Florida State, or would you rather see Michigan and Oregon? Right?
You know, man,
I don't want to see Oregon, Georgia. We saw that last year.
if I'm going to see that, I want to see it in the national title game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a way for Bo to kind of go out on top, right off into the sunset right there, man. Because especially the way Georgia's beat up on him his entire career right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one wants to see that.
Let's say UW gets it done.
Oh, they're in.
That's what it looked like with that.
God, that would mean the Huskies are going to the national championship game. Jesus, let's not have that happen.
Oh, it totally would mean that, wouldn't it?
Oh God, no! Please, no! I don't want to see it.
The tide will be on the outside looking in.
Oh man, Derby says we're really getting a 12-team playoff next year. Yes, sir. Yes, we are. Do one more for me. Do one more.
All right, hold on. Let me get down here. All right, what you want?
Give me Alabama. Give me Louisville. Give me Iowa. Give me Oklahoma State. Give me the Ducks.
Chaos.
We'll see what happens. Oregon is number one.
Oregon's the 1 seed, baby. Alabama,
Look at
Georgia.
That.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at this, except for everyone would be like, "Oh God, we just saw Alabama, Georgia." I'm like, "Yeah, but we wait a month. We'll wait a month and we'll see it again.
Let them run it back." Yeah, Oregon, Ohio State. That totally looks like an Ohio State Georgia national championship right there.
Yeah, it sure does.
Alabama's not beating Georgia twice. Ohio State sneaks in ahead of Michigan, who beat them. That's what the committee does not want to.
I don't think they would do. I don't think they would do that. I think they would put Michigan at 4. They would go head to head. So. Yeah, they wouldn't be like, "We're not going to hurt you because you played an extra game." Still, that'd be fun. Oregon, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia.
That would be fun.
And no one could bitch. Man. You couldn't hear Texas bitch because you lost to Oklahoma State.
That's fair. That's fair. That's what I'm saying, man. If you lose to those teams, you don't have a gripe. You just don't.
Oh man. Oklahoma State, I can't wait for Monday, or maybe we'll even do it Sunday at some point. We gotta, before the committee comes out with their official rankings, which is next Tuesday, right? The final.
I don't know. I actually think they come out with those on Sunday.
Well,
I think it's Sunday after the conference championships. I'm pretty sure they do that.
Well, we'll know the big games by Sunday morning. So maybe Saturday night or Sunday morning. Before, I know we got a lot of NFL stuff to do and whatnot, but maybe we can hop on and we can do a little segment of what we think the committee is going to do. I think you're right. I think they do it Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Kind of like Selection Sunday in basketball.
Beautiful.
But yeah, outside that, Missouri in line for a New Year's Six bowl right there. I know they don't have any chance to make the playoff, all that, but they are in line for a New Year's Six bowl. If you'd have told me Missouri was going to be playing a New Year's Six bowl back in about September, I'd have told you was wrong. So I'm glad to see that, man. They have taken a leap forward in their head coach's 4th year out there. I like to see what I'm seeing out of the Missouri Tigers. I think they've had a great season, man. They're going to get rewarded for it, I believe.
Look at that. Pac-12 has Washington, Oregon. They've got Arizona. I'm curious to see. Football team. I'm curious to see when. They really turned it on this year. Oregon State up there. Yeah. We'll see. But there you go. There's your top 25. All this stuff doesn't matter. We got to play the game this weekend, and we'll see who ends up coming through.